Good morning, y'all. I went ahead and started. We're still waiting for a couple of people to join us. I just sent a reminder. So I know we have a minute or two until 10 o'clock. So we'll see who we can get. And if not, we will rock and roll with who we've got. Alrighty, y'all. It looks like people are starting to join us, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen really quickly, and we'll get started. I want to take care of everybody's time. So as I'm putting up my PowerPoint here, I just want to say thank you all so much for being here. I'm really optimistic that a lot of what we're going to go over today is going to help alleviate credentialing as we get to fire rescue, questions about how to actually use the app, individual accounts versus your business account, and things like that. So we're going to go through this PowerPoint really quickly. It's pretty brief. This is just going to really be our overview, kind of our roadmap of where we're going to go today. After we get through with the PowerPoint, we're going to hop over into the CMS, which is what I like to call the back end of the app, where we will put in our individual representatives information as well as complete that company profile. After we go through the CMS, I will then share my screen with you on my phone so that we can actually look at the front end of the app as well, so that we can see exactly what lead generation looks like, how to use it, and different things like that. So again, thank you so much for being here. I will have plenty of time at the end for questions. Me focusing here on the screen, if you type something in the chat, I might miss it. So if I do, please, before we leave, just make sure that you raise your hand or have your microphone on so that I can answer those questions for you. So again, this is just our roadmap. So we'll get started here. So again, really quickly, why this matters. This is going to help prevent those badge delays when you get to the Myrtle Beach Convention Center and you are checking in as an exhibitor. This is also going to help you understand how to use the leads feature within the app, ensuring that all of your booth staff have access to the app. I know we already had a couple different questions about that. And also just maximize your visibility within the app. And we will really look at that when we look at the front end of the app when I share my phone screen. So again, kind of reiterating what we just went over, it's entering your business information as well as those individual people that you'll have on the floor. And you're actually doing that in that users section where we say that is critical. And then completing your exhibitor profile. And then again, the lead scanning and the follow-up and the dashboard of what that looks like and all the different things that you can tailor specifically to your business. So you should have all received an email from me this morning with your exhibitor login username as well as your password and of course the link to get there. You will log in to the CMS using these credentials, and that is that web portal that I sent you. That's not the login for the app itself that you have on your phone. That is just for you to complete that exhibitor profile and add in those sales representatives in the CMS. And again, this is where you're going to access that event so that you can manage your company and staff information. And I know all of this probably sounds a little bit confusing, but again, we're going to walk through what the CMS looks like via a test demonstration as well to hopefully answer any questions that you might have. And again, I go back to the user section for badging and credentialing purposes. There is no limit for you on the exhibitor side as to how many people you can add. If you say you have a couple, 3 or 4 people that are kind of on the fence, you're still trying to get those schedules down, there's no repercussion for you to go ahead and add those people into the user section. Worst comes to worst, we print a couple badges that you don't need, and that costs you a little bit of administrative time on the front end. But on the back end of the site, there's no repercussion for entering more people than you may need. So I recommend erring on the side of caution and adding in those people that you might even have an inkling that they will be attending, is to just go ahead and add them in. And again, I say that we will actually look at what this looks like here in just a second. Just make sure, of course, all contact information, their first name, last name, you do have to put their company on there. They'll be with you. And then a good working email address. This is really important, especially as exhibitors, because you are the only group of people who have access to that leads section. And if you don't have a good email for your people, your individuals to log into the app, you're going to have a bunch of crosshairs. It's going to get a little bit confusing. So just make sure that you have individual emails that are working good emails, and that you're not using your generic info@businessname.com for all of your representatives. Please make sure that you are using Brooke@businessname.com for those individuals, as an example. When we get to the CMS, we'll show you exactly how to do all of the things that are on your screen: updating your company description, listing your products and services, making sure you have accurate contact information, and where to put that information as well. And then we go into lead generation. Like I mentioned earlier, you are the only group of people in the fire rescue CMS and in the app who have access to lead generation. One of the cool things about the Exhibitor app when it comes to leads is that you can rapid scan. So if you were talking to a group of 5 or 6 people, you are able to scan those all at once, and you are not reliant on the Wi-Fi. If you've exhibited with us in the convention center before, you know that can be a little bit hit or miss from time to time. So you can take these lead generation scans, and then that will sync up when you get back to your Wi-Fi connection. You can also add notes to those conversations. And another point that I don't have here is that you're actually able to go into the CMS and add specific questions that you might want to capture as you're having these conversations with people at Fire Rescue. And then these leads are available to you post-conference, and we'll look at that dashboard as well as what that Excel spreadsheet looks like. And while we are here, this is not a fire rescue badge. This is my one from Fire FDIC, but it's the closest one to me. Our badges look very similar. You're going to have a QR code that people can scan, and that's going to give you the contact information for them, including their name, or first name, last name, email, department, and if they have filled out any of their profile, you will get that as well. If they don't have their badge, which they should, you can also scan a business cards within the Fire Rescue app in that same lead generation section on there. And again, I will show you all of this when I get to sharing my screen on my phone. So here are just a common issues that we recommend, or that we have seen in the past might prevent, smooth transitions, registering when you get to conference and different things. And the number one is, of course, forgetting to add your staff in the CMS. If you are bringing dozens of people, upwards of 10 people. Again, I go back to there are no harm, no foul to adding as many people as you want to on your company profile, so that they can have credentials when they get there. And then waiting until you arrive to test the app. We are still a couple weeks away. We are adding things to the app daily. We're having these kind of conversations, and I am available to help walk you through anything with the app up until we get to Fire Rescue. And I am, here to help. You have my email. My cell phone has been in those emails that you've received from me. So we are easily available for you if you have any specific questions as we get to conference. Incomplete exhibitor profiles. We will look at the full list of exhibitors in just a moment and kind of what we hope it will look like. To have every exhibitor profile complete in the app. It'll look really nice and sharp. And again, you saw on the screen earlier, that will just increase your visibility to the folks in the app. And then, like I mentioned earlier, is the sharing of the login for the app itself. In the email that you received from me this morning, I encouraged you to share that email or that login information because again, that is for the back end of the app where you will log in on your computer and where you will put in all of those individuals' information and your company profile. When we talk about sharing logins, we're talking about the actual app itself on your phone. And again, I will show you all of this here in just a couple slides. We'll get there. Here is just a quick overview of who kind of helps you with what. Chief King is on this call. He's here to help with booth logistics, power, move in, move out. When it comes to the app, lead scanning, or badging questions before arriving to conference, my email is here. And like I mentioned, you should all have my cell phone as well. Final checklist before we actually hop into the CMS and start actually looking through things and giving everybody a real life overview. This would be what I call, your real checklist for the fire rescue app. Making sure all of your representatives are added. And again, more than you need is never a bad thing. Making sure that you have your exhibitor profile complete. You've tested your lead scan, and then you have got your staff trained as well, whether that be sending them this recording or just talking with them about how to use the lead scan, or if you need help with putting in representatives' information on the front end and things like that. And I have one more slide, but we're actually going to jump over this and head straight into the CMS and start looking at what it will look like for you as an exhibitor to start adding in your users and go over all of those things. So if you'll bear with me really quickly. So the link that you all received from me this morning goes to this page. And so I am going to use our test profile really quickly to hop in here and show you, again, exactly what you're going to do as you go through completing your exhibitor profile and adding in your staff who are going to be representing you. So you're going to have to click into Fire Rescue 2026. And I have already started on our test profile here. So if you have not logged into the CMS this year yet, you are going to see very similar things, but this is going to be a blank image. It's going to have your business name, and then a couple of these items are going to be blank. So you will actually need to go in and complete those. So in order to do that, you're going to go into Edit Company. And this is where you can put your company name. I would not recommend changing that. That is what we have received from Map Dynamics when you were originally registered for conference. You're going to put in your business URL, a good phone number, and then your address and the description. One thing that I want to point out while we're here, and I will point it out again when we look at the front end of the app, is the difference between this portal admin login ID and the display email ID. The portal admin login ID is what you received from me this morning. That is a fake email address that we have to assign you in order to get you access to the app and start your profile. The display email ID is the one that, of course, is displayed on the Fire Rescue app to our attendees. If you don't update the display email ID within this company profile, it is going to automatically pull the portal admin login ID, which is, again, a fake email address. So if you don't go in and update your display email ID and someone needs to contact you and they go into your exhibitor profile and all they see is that fake email address, that's what they're going to try to use to reach you, and they're not going to be able to get a hold of you because it's a fake email address. So that is something I really have been stressing, is to just make sure that you update this display email ID. These photos over here, the top one is going to be, I think of this as like your Facebook profile picture. This is going to be the little corner picture that is on the list of exhibitors. And again, we'll see that when I go through on my phone screen. And then the one on the bottom here, this is what you would consider your Facebook header. This is when you click on your profile, and that is the image that is at the top of the screen. I have both of these images as the same, but you don't have to have them the same. You can do different images for your profile picture and your header picture as well. So this is how you set up your company profile. And then after you have completed that, you will just click update, and then you have checked something off of your list. You have completed your exhibitor profile after you have done all of those steps. Next, let's head over to that very critical users section where we're going to be adding in our individual representatives information that, again, we say is crucial for badging, as well as access to the lead generation in the app. So over here, again, there's no limit to how many that you can put in if you would like to. So we're going in here, and I am just going to add just myself as a test. And then I'm going to need a good email. So I'll put that in here. I can put in my title, and then my company name, SC State Firefighters Association. And you do not need to fill out this password. Mine automatically put in because I've done this so many times, but you do not need to fill out this password. You will receive an email with that password as well. So you should not need to fill that out. You can if you want to, but it is not something that you have to do. The only requirements on the user section are all indicated by this little red star. So the only thing that you must put in when you add a user is first name, last name, email, and then company name. And then you would go down here and add. There's no, again, I say repercussions for filling out the rest of this information if you'd like to. It is just not required and will not have an impact on your badging. So again, you would just click add, and you would do that same process for everyone who will be attending fire rescue. After you have added them as a user here, that is when they will have access with their individual email again to the front end of the fire rescue app. So that is how you get access there. So that is the user section. Again, I reiterate, just critical for badging, critical for having access to the leads section in the app, which is where we're going to head over to now, is what that back end of leads looks like, what the dashboard looks like, and everything that you get in that Excel spreadsheet and the different things that you can do as individual businesses. So over here, this is what your dashboard's going to look like. You've got a name, email, your organization, phone number, rank, and then your booth attendee is your staff member who scanned that lead. And then, of course, we have notes over here as well. So this is just really what it's going to look like. The Excel export looks very, very similar to that as well. Let me see here. Give me just a moment. So this is, again, exactly what it's going to look like. We've got name, email. We have no data available because we still have no lead scans. So that is what it would look like if you were to export that file. And if you have specific questions that you know that you need to ask for people, you can go in here to app questions and actually create your own questions that are important to you as a business. If you, for example, at the South Carolina State Firefighters Association booth, we might really be interested in capturing the volunteer or career status of whoever we're speaking with. So if we are capturing leads as an exhibitor and we really need to know that information off the front end, we can go in and actually select our question type. For this purposes, I would select a radio button so that way our sales rep can only select one. They can't select more than one like I could with a checkbox. Are you career or volunteer? And then I would put in here, career, volunteer, and then I would click add. And now every time I have one of my people scan a lead in the app, they are going to have to go through and answer these questions as well. And if my memory serves me correctly, this is just for detailed scanning. This does not pop up when you do that rapid scan that I mentioned earlier, where you're scanning multiple people in a row. This is more if you were having a one-on-one conversation with someone who has purchasing power or something like that, where you really need to get their info very quickly and very detailed in that detailed scan versus the rapid scan. So that is the CMS of the website or of the fire rescue app. So just again, really quickly, before we hop over into the front end of the app, I just want to stress again that users section in the CMS where you add all of your different individual representatives information. And if you have issues with that, again, I am always here to help you walk through what that looks like and help you navigate that as need be. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to close out of CMS. I'm going to open up my screen sharing really quickly on my phone, and we're actually going to look through the lead scan, kind of what that exhibitor profile on the app looks like and why we really are encouraging all of our exhibitors to complete that exhibitor profile to the best of their ability. So give me one moment while I get that up, and then we will be rocking and rolling, everyone. Okay. Okay, so everybody should be seeing my phone screen now, my laptop background and my phone screen. So I am going to go ahead and open my fire rescue app. And I'm going to log out here so that you'll see the login screen. So I'm going to use my login really quickly to get in here. And if you've exhibited with us before, you should be familiar with what we're seeing here. And I don't want to save my password. We've got our schedule up, so you can go ahead and start looking at what the week is going to look like and different things like that, the speakers that we've got. So just an FYI there. If you go over here to the left, you'll see these three little vertical lines on top of each other. This is our menu. And let's go into exhibitors. So this is our long list of exhibitor profiles. And as you see, like we have a couple who have started to complete their exhibitor profile. And, we need to go in and change a name here. I'll go in and look at the South Carolina State Firefighters Association so that we can, again, see exactly what that looks like. This list right here, if you remember earlier, I talked about your Facebook profile picture on the CMS. That's the picture at the top. That is what this photo is. And if you go into your exhibitor profile, that picture at the top there, that is your header picture. And again, they're the same because I had them the same on the back end. This is that email address that I updated. If I had not updated it, it would still be that test email and all of the information that I added in as well. So this is what that exhibitor profile should look like. And again, I go back to exhibitors being the only group of people who have access to the leads section. Staff doesn't have it, speakers don't have it. You are the only group of people who have this option down here. So I mentioned earlier, you've heard me say detail scan and rapid scan. The detail scan is going to be, again, where you have one person that you're speaking with, you capture their information, and then after you go through that process, you can go through the ranking. And then if you have notes or if you have decided to add any specific questions just for your business, you can do that as well. Rapid scan, just like I mentioned, it's going to be quick, multiple in a row, or if you have decided that the rankings or maybe those questions don't necessarily matter for the purposes of your lead generation. If they don't have their badge, which again they should because it's their ticket to the show, you can always scan their business card in here as well. Okay, and I'm going to stop sharing here. And I know that was a very high level overview of the fire rescue app, the exhibitor profile, what that looks like to complete it, adding in those users and all of the different things that you as exhibitors can do within the app, and the different things that we need from you on the front end to help alleviate any issues that you might have at check-in in order to get those credentials. And that is the end of our training today. Does anybody have any questions? I am focused now. I'm looking at our chat. So if anybody needs any specific help, please let me know. I believe is Alex here? He is. I got his email. Alex, I will get with you to get you all of that information. And if anybody else needs anything, please let me know. And I think we've got a comment coming. And users is yes, that is correct. Those emails that you're putting in under those user profiles, that will be the email that they use to log into the app. And that same SCFR 2026 password that you receive will be the one that they use as well. Thank you, Kurt. Awesome, guys. Well, this has been recorded. So if you all need it or would like to send it to your people, please let me know. I'll be more than happy to get it to you. We also have another app training at 2 p.m. this afternoon. If you have anyone in your office who you think would really benefit from this or who you need their help with on the fire rescue app, please just send them my information and we'll get them added in. But again, I greatly, greatly appreciate your time. I hope we were able to answer any questions and alleviate any stress that you might have. But again, you've got my information and Chief King's info if you need anything outside of the app as well. But I hope y'all have a great rest of your day, and we will see you at the beach next month. Thanks, everybody.